Alright, here we go. I've already began on this and didn't really show a lot of what I was doing, but I've got the wires, and these are blue, white, and black wires that come with the mirrors, already run all the way over here. Simply found a route and zip tied them all up under there. Drop them down here. This will all be behind the kick panel. I've got the whites together and the blacks together, because that's ground and that's clearance light, so those can be tied into the same circuits basically. The blues need to be separated, and it's too bad they don't come with different colors, because I have to pay very close attention to which one comes from which. Obviously, the line going up came from that side, and then the line that dives in there came from this side. So yeah, these ones for the turn signals, I will take them and dive them back out there and tie into the actual turn signal wire loom outside under the trunk, or under the hood, excuse me. And my idea for this one is a quick, easy way to do it and keep them, identified which side's which, is I'm going to use speaker wire to do this. I'll just attach a length of speaker wire, run it up through that same grommet hole there. It's the same location. Factory had something there, and I run all my stuff through there. So I'll go through there, and somewhere in that vicinity I'm also going to put in the relay and bolt it in up there out of the way. And the relay will just basically take power from the switch. I've got a lead already up in there from when I did the fog lights. So the fog lights are actually, their switch comes off of that power, so when it's on parking lights, so I can run just fog lights without headlights if I want to, and there are times I do that. So when I did that, I have a lead tucked up in here, and I'll just pull it back down and run it over to be the switch power for the relay. So whenever I turn on parking lights, then all the marker lights just come on. And I'll do one leg of that relay is going to be these, and the other leg will be the cab roof mounts and any others that I want to tie into that for any marker lights I want to do. But yeah, let me get to it. Probably something this size, because I'm going to use this sort of speaker wire. I'm going to use that speaker wire. Focus, focus, focus. But that speaker wire is what I'm going to do for the turn signals tapping into the factory loom under the hood. And so they'll need to go out of the truck to there. So these won't be run through the relay, but all the marker stuff will. It's probably overkill putting a relay on the marker, but considering I want to do other marker lights later, it's not a bad idea. I know the factory on these trucks will tie all kinds of marker lights in that circuit. And for the factory and for trailers, it's usually the brown circuit. But for this, it's, well, for these mirrors, they're using white, so I'm going to stick with white for that. And yellow is going to come from under the hood for power. Red is, since that's the switch leg I've already got, I'm going to use that. I have to apologize here, I've skipped a few steps. Haven't videoed what I've been doing. Obviously, I always refer to my Haynes manual for the lighting wire diagram, and you're looking right in this section here, if it'll focus, is where your flashers are at. So left is light blue, right is dark blue, and those are the lines. They're going to be coming in this trunk here, the factory trunk, and you'll find them, and I've spliced in right here. And me, kind of ghetto, but I'm using speaker wire for it. And that goes down in that hole. I'm going to put a rubber grommet in there to protect it. The yellow wire is going to be what feeds the relay. Now, I learned a long time ago to start using these things. They're better than fuses. It's a fusible link. A lot of times they're tagged like this one is. Fusible link. You can find just a single section of it like that at your local AutoZone or O'Reilly's or whatever. A lot of times I buy it in bulk, in a whole big roll of it. So you cut yourself off 6 or 7 inches of it on a ring terminal. And these GMT 400s, you have this fuse relay center, and on that fuse relay center are a couple of blocks right here for accessories to be tied in. That's a 13mm bolt, so I put that in a washer, and I've tied in a lot of my accessories power taps to that. So the MSD box is that line. This line is actually still on a fuse because it's a pretty good weather tight one. That fuse, that's green, so it's probably coming to this painless wiring. 4-way headlight conversion. And I've obviously stuffed the bottom of it with silicone to keep it a little bit better watertight, but eventually I'll probably Well, that goes inside, so it must be a switch. That's not that then. So this is obviously on a fusible link, because everything else is fusible link except for these two fuses. This yellow one. Oh, this yellow one right here is this 4-way module, and that's from Painless. I got that. Stuffed the bottom of it. Wish this would focus better, but the bottom of that stuffed with silicone to keep it a little more watertight, and the joint between the relay and the bracket is done with dielectric grease, like I always do it. But yeah, fusible link. Light blue and dark blue are the colors inside here. I've got a lot of my other accessory wires, some bloom going there. But yeah, when you're looking for a place to tap power for your relays, this is where I usually go. And then right in there is where I've got all the grommets going to inside switches and everything. Alright, I'm kind of skipping ahead again. I'm running out of time. I got an appointment to go to in about 30 minutes. But, so there's all of that tapped together. I've got the 2 white wires that are designated in here on this white tap. 2 ground wires on that tap. I use the speaker wire for the turn signals. I use the white stripe one for the light blue, the other one's the dark blue, and that should give me my left and right turn signals in the mirror. I have the yellow line for the supply. I have to do the rest of this evening when I'm back. So that's as far as I'm getting right now. I'm going to button it up. I'll leave this outside of that panel and get it all buttoned up. So all I got to do is come back and just install the relay. So yeah, we're getting to a stopping point here, and I'll get back to it in a few minutes when we're back from that appointment. When I do these relays, I like using these relay bases, because then you can plug a relay in and out if the relay fries. I guess I had bad luck with relays frying. But you get this, you're also going to need a baggie of these little dealios. What I like with them, these little connectors, you notice here, it crimps on the wire, and this end crimps on the actual jacketing of the insulation. So you got kind of a double attachment system there. And those, you notice that little hook on the back side there, and that snaps in to this base. And if you ever want to pull it out, you need a thin screwdriver. You can see there, you push it in there and that disengages it to pull it out. Well, this is a pretty good way to get everything all pulled up in there. So obviously, let's go over the wiring I've done so far. So I've got the red line, which is the switch that comes from up on the actual light switch up here. So it comes down here. That's going to be the switch leg for the relay. I've got the yellow line. I got to be careful with this because that's actually hot right now. I suppose I could pull the fuse if I wanted to, but I just got to be careful with it. I'm about to snap it into the relay base anyway and keep it protected that way. I'm going to show you how I do that one. Then you got the ground wire for the mirrors. You got the clearance lights for the mirrors. All that's going to go into one of those legs, and I'm going to leave a line of white wire out of the back of the relay so I can tap in later for the cab mounted roof lights and any other clearance lights I want to put on this truck later. Alright, so you see I've got that on. It's crimped on both the jacket and on the wire itself. And all you do, as you can see that slot right there, so orient the clip towards that slot from the back side and listen. You hear it clip and it engages and it's nice and tight. So this is going to be one of the leads going up to clearance lights. That is how you snap these things into them, and if you needed to release them, you just get a thin screwdriver in that notch and it'll release that tab and pull them back out if you needed to. But yeah, so that's how that's done. I'm going to get the rest of them wired up and I'll show you how that looks when we're done. Alright, when I ground, I like to use this steel crossbar. It's a pretty good cross point. This bolt is what holds the bracket on for the OBD2 port. So just undo that bolt, put a ring terminal on it, and I'm running 14 gauge back for ground. And it loops back around. Oh, excuse the jiggliness. And the one for the wire, or the thinner wire, is the one for the mirrors. And I junction it together with heat shrink. Then it goes in there, it'll go in the back of that bracket. And so it'll give a common ground to both the relay and the mirrors themselves. All right here at a good hard chassis point. You can see a lot of the other things I've done are all done on that one, which is another bolt there. But yeah, I like using those ones because you can crank down pretty hard on them and make sure you got a good solid ground. You don't really need to here, but I still use a heat shrink connector there. I like the heat shrink stuff. But yeah, we'll just snap that back into the back of that. And I only got 2 more wires to connect, and then we can test this whole system. So yeah, let me get to it. So before I put any silicone grease or anything on there, I put the relay in to check and see exactly how it works. And this is curious. Those backup lights are on. So the white wire likely belongs to that. But what I also don't like is, you see my lights are on. That clearance light is not on like it should be. That's on. That's off. That's off. That's not right. I'm not liking this. It means I'm probably going to have to tear the mirrors apart and check the wiring in there to figure out exactly what's going to where. But if you put the blinkers on, yeah, I've got the side indicator there, the one over there on that side, and those indicators are working. Those are not. So this is kind of not exactly what I was expecting to see. And it's working over there too. Yeah, so the turn signals will work that way. Now, what is it with electricity in this truck? Every time I try to do something that's supposed to be simple, something ends up funny. I'll have to look into this one some more, but for now I'm going to run it like this. I think I'm going to have to figure out, well, I do have to figure out, I can't run down the road with those little buggers on, so to figure out which wire is actually running these little white lights and disconnect it and figure out what to do with it in the future. I'm guessing I'm going to have to go the same route that Bad Z71 shows when you do the wiring in here. Mossman did another one as well, where you have to mess around with the wiring in here. Diodes, resistors, all that kind of fun stuff. So I guess that's in my future for these. For now, I'm just going to run them as they are. Gives me turn signals where I wanted them. Doesn't give me clearance lights where I wanted them, but yeah, I'll figure it out. I think in the end, these nice little white lights, I want to put those on just a manual switch. Put them on a manual switch, so that way with a little, I don't think I even need a relay. Little LEDs like that are not going to draw a lot of light. So do a manual switch so I can turn them on if I want them, when I want them. And they don't come on with the reverse lights. I don't think I want them on with my reverse lights. I could, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see exactly what this is. Hang on just a second. So yeah, here's the wiring diagram that came with it. And you see white wire clearance lamps. That's not the clearance lamps, that's the back lamps. I'm guessing. I'm about to disconnect that white wire and we'll find out for sure. If so, then this will get fun later. I think I will end up having to tear them apart and do what Mossman and Bad Z71 did with theirs to give dual function and things. I'll do that another day. Right now I'm just going to disconnect the white wire and see if that does the function I want it to do. Hang on a second. Alright, for now just removing the relay does this, because those are just wired straight into the factory loom. So I've got signal function like I want. So obviously I got a date with some of the internal wiring of this mirror. Yeah, working on that side too, which that's good, I like it, but noisy boys. What I'm going to do is take that, I'm going to bolt it up, and I'll deal with the wiring at the lamp end of things, or at the mirror end of things. And that way I don't have to undo any of all this work. I'll finish this up, leave the relay out of it, because obviously that white wire is going straight to those backup wires, which means their little instruction sheet, thank you for the light, Sean, their instruction sheet doesn't really mark it correctly. It's not the clearance lights, it's the backup light that they've got in there. So yeah. Alright, I'm going to do that. I'm going to run with it like this. Someday in the future I'll do an update when I do the internal wiring. For now, this will close out this video. It runs, gives me some functions. Not the functions I want, but it gives me some functions. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this did you some help. If you ever get these mirrors, then you kind of know what you're facing here. It gives you a better idea of what that actual is. That white wire is not the clearance lamps, it is the backup lamp that comes out of that harness from the mirrors. So yeah, we'll close it out here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.